ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सर्ववेदांतसिद्धांतसारसंग्रह श्लोक 51 and 52. The two shlokas are mutually connected, so we will study the shlokas together. दूरादवेक्ष्याग्निशिखां पतंगो रम्यत्वबुद्ध्या विनिपत्य नश्यति। यथा तथा नष्टदृगेश सूक्ष्मम् कथं निरीक्षेत विमुक्तिमार्गम्। कामेन कान्तां परिगृह्य तद्वत् जनोऽप्ययं नश्यति नष्टदृष्टिः। मांसास्थिमज्जामलमूत्रपात्रम् स्त्रियं स्वयं रम्यतयैव पश्यति। Among the sadhana chatushtaya, the author is elaborately discussing vairagya, which is known as ihamutrartha phalabhoga viragaha. Since vairagya is a very important sadhana, the author is elaborating on it in great detail. While discussing vairagya, the author is talking about vairagya with respect to various objects. He discussed vairagya with respect to money, etc. And now he is discussing vairagya towards spouse. A human being gets attached to his or her spouse, cultivates emotional dependence, physical attraction towards his or her spouse. Now the author is discussing that kind of attraction, that kind of attachment as an obstacle to the progress in the pursuit of moksha. The author compares the attraction to the spouse to a moth being attracted to a fire, a flame of fire. See the verse. Patangaha, a moth, durat agnishikam avekshya. It sees the agnishikha, the flame of fire, from a distance. When it sees the fire from a distance, it is attracted to the fire. Ramyatva buddhya, it feels it is beautiful. The fire is beautiful. It does not think more, just feels it is beautiful. Therefore, if I go and touch it, I will be happy. The moth thinks so, perhaps. It gets a ramyatva buddhi. Ramyatva buddhi means the thought that it is attractive, it is pleasant. This is aviveka, lack of discrimination, misconception. The moth is not aware that the fire is dangerous. It is impulsively attracted to the fire on account of the impulsive attraction to the fire. It does not think of the consequences and rushes towards the fire. Vinipatya nashyati, falls into the fire, and nashyati, it is destroyed, dies. This is the example. In the same manner, tadvat, in the same manner, kamena kantam parigrihya, kamena, this person, a spouse, on account of kama, on account of desire, on account of attraction to his spouse, kantam parigrihya, he holds on to his spouse, gets attached to his spouse, and on account of the attachment to the spouse, nashta drishtihi, he loses his insight. He loses the insight regarding the true purpose of life. And therefore, nashyati, he is also lost, meaning he sinks in the ocean of samsara on account of the attachment to the spouse. Now, the author says the physical attraction to the spouse, to the opposite gender, is a mirage, because any body is just a composite of flesh, blood, etc. Mamsasthi majja malamutra patram striyam, the Stree Sharira. While writing this, the author had a male student in mind, because most of the author's students were men, whereas it is the other way around with me now. So if I was to write, I would have replaced the striyam into pumsam. So the Stree Sharira is nothing but mamsa, flesh, asthi, bone, majja, marrow, mala, stool, mutra, urine. It is a patra of these things, a vessel which consists of these things, the body. But this person, on account of his aviveka, on account of his moha, he thinks it is beautiful and he is attracted to it. 53. Kama eva yamas sakshat. Kanta vaitarani nadi. Vivekinam mumukshunam. Nilayastu yamalayaha. While discussing these verses, it is apt to say a word of caution. The author does not mean you should fight with your spouse from today onwards because you are Vedanta students. Therefore, you should not have attachment to your spouse. Not having attachment does not mean having hatred. Raga and dvesha both are undesirable for a mumukshu. Often people think, if I have to give up attachment, I have to start hating somebody. It is not the idea. The Shastra does not say you should hate someone. Instead, the Shastra says, have love for everyone, be nice to everyone, be compassionate to everyone, be a well wisher of everyone, do your duties properly. But in the meantime, one should make effort to grow out of the attachment. That is the idea. Therefore, these verses should not be misunderstood. So, in this shloka, the author is drawing some comparisons. Kama eva yamas sakshat kanta vaitarani nadi vivekina mumukshuna. For a viveki who is a mumukshu, mumukshu means one who seeks moksha. A mumukshu has to be a viveki. He should have viveka. What is permanent? What is impermanent? What is healthy in his pursuit of moksha? And what is undesirable to his pursuit of moksha? A mumukshu should understand this. Such a person is called a viveki. For a viveki mumukshu, kama eva yamas sakshat. Kama, desire, is sakshat yamaha, is none other than Yama, the Lord of Death. He looks upon desire as a Yama, means he knows that desire can cause death of his pursuit. It can put an end to the pursuit of moksha if he cherishes the desire. Therefore, he tries to avoid desires. He avoids cherishing desires by all means. Kanta vaitarani nadi. Kanta, wife, spouse, is like Vaitarani Nadi. Vaitarani Nadi is a river that you get while traveling to Yamaloka after death. The Vaitarani Nadi is full of filth, very dirty river, and very difficult to cross. In the Puranas, there is a lot of discussion of Vaitarani Nadi. The author says, for a mumukshu, the spouse is like Vaitarani Nadi. Meaning, a mumukshu should not get attached to the spouse. He should grow out of the attachment to the spouse. And not only spouse, it can be extended to all the relations. Nilayastu yamalayaha. For a mumukshu, Nilaya, his own house, is like the abode of Yama, Yamalaya. Here also, we should understand these things properly. We should understand the spirit of these words properly. It does not mean one should run away from the house. The author is just addressing the attachment to the house. As long as there is attachment to the house, it is like Yamalaya, because it can hold one back from the spiritual unfoldment. Whereas when there is no attachment, they say, Nivrittaragasya griham tapovanam. When there is no raga, Nivrittaragasya, when the person is free from raga, attachment, then the same house where he is living can be a tapovana for him. It can be a place for his sadhana. 54. Yamalaye vapi grihepi no nrnam. Tapatraya klesha nivrittirasti. Kinchit samalokya tu tadviramam. Sukhatmana pashyati mudhalokaha. Now, the author is explaining the comparison. He compared to Yamalo, he compared to He compared the house, home, to Yamaloka. So, how the home is similar to Yamaloka, the author is explaining. In Yamaloka, Yamalaya, the problems do not stop. They keep torturing the person again and again. First, one type of torture. As soon as it gets over, there will be another type of torture. That is how a person is treated in Yamaloka. Now, the author says, even in the house, the problems do not come to an end. There will be one type of problem. As soon as it comes to an end, then another type of problem starts. There will be water problem. If water problem comes to an end, electricity problem starts. Like that, in the household, the problems do not come to an end. Some or the other problem. And sometimes there is a respite. For a while, nothing happens. And then this person thinks that the house can give him permanent happiness. But that permanent happiness does not last very long. After a while, another problem comes. Therefore, Yamalaye vapi grihepi, whether it is in Yamalaya or it is in the house, Nranam tapatraya klesha nivrittihi na asti. For human beings, Nranam tapatraya klesha nivrittihi, freedom from the problems which are called tapatraya. There are three types of problems known as tapatraya: adhyatmika tapa, adhibhautika tapa, and adhidaivika tapa. These are the three types of tapas. Tapa literally means heat, headache. Here, tapa means problem, because the problem is like heat. It scorches us like heat. Adhyatmika. Adhyatmika tapa means the problems that happen in our own body, like disease, etc., jwara, ityadi, fever, etc. Adhyatmika tapa. Then there is adhibhautika tapa. Adhibhautika tapa is traditionally interpreted as the problems caused by other beings like a tiger, snake, mosquito, etc. Nowadays, we have adequate remedies for tiger, snake, etc. Even for mosquitoes, we have repellents, coil, net. So many remedies are there. But then there is a major adhibhautika tapa that human beings face nowadays. That is the other people, the neighbors, our own family members, colleagues, boss. The problem caused by all other people is also included in adhibhautika tapa, caused by other beings, other living beings. They trouble us. And then adhidaivika tapa, caused by the devatas, daiva, like the natural calamities. They are adhidaivika. Therefore, the human beings are afflicted by tapatraya, and these tapatrayas do not come to an end. They keep continuing one after another. But in between, there is a pause. Kinchit samalokya tu tadviramam. For a while, the tapas may subside. Kinchit, a little bit. Viramam samalokya. One experiences cessation of all the tapas. All the problem seems to have subsided for a while. And then one feels that the life can really give happiness. Sukhatmana pashyati. Then one feels the life is pleasant. The life will give happiness. And this is the understanding of a deluded person. Mudhalokaha. A deluded person. It is a delusion to think that the life can really give happiness. For a while there may be happiness. Everything will be pleasant. Everything will be favorable to us for a while. But that time does not continue forever. As long as our punya allows us, things may get pleasant. But when the punya is exhausted, once again the things go haywire. Sometimes the health issues come up, adhyatmikatapa. Sometimes the neighbors start creating problem, adhibhautikatapa. Sometimes there are natural calamities, adhidaivikatapa. Everything starts. Therefore, it is a delusion to think that I can be happy in life depending on the external factors. As long as we depend on the external factors for our happiness, we are in trouble, because the external factors can never keep us happy for a very long time. Shloka 55. Yamasya kamasya cha taratamyam vicharyamane mahadasti loke hitam karotyasya yamo priyassan कामस्त्वनर्थं कुरुते प्रियः सन्. Now, the author is explaining the comparison between yama and kama. Previously, the author said, Kama eva yamas sakshat. Kama is yama. But now the author says, there is a difference between kama and yama on a closer look. Yama is far better than kama also. Vicharyamane, on enquiry, loke, in the world, yamasya kamasya cha mahattaratamyam asti. There is a great difference between yama and kama. In what way they are different? Hitam karotyasya yamo priyassan. Yama, even though yama looks apriya, yama looks terrible, yama does not have a pleasant look when he comes. But in reality, hitam karoti, yama does good to a person by taking his life. Yama does good to a person. He is at least freed from this body, and his further journey is facilitated by yama. If yama does not take us from this body, we will have to stay in a worn out, weak body. an unlivable body. Therefore, Yama, even though he looks unpleasant, in reality, Yama does good to us by releasing a person, by releasing a jiva from a disintegrated old body. Whereas Kama, it looks pleasant. Kamaha priyaha san. Unlike Yama, Kama looks pleasant. Kama comes with a smiling face. But in reality, anartham kurute, the Kama causes disaster. It can cause the spiritual degradation. It puts us in trouble. Desire causes trouble. It looks pleasant in the beginning, but in its effect, there is problem. That is the difference between Yama and Kama. The author further explains the distinction between Yama and Kama. 56. Yamo satameva karotyanartham. Satam tu saukhyam kurute hitassan. Kamassatameva gatin nirundhan. Karotyanartham hyasatantu kakatha. Yeah. In these verses, the Acharya is telling that Yama is far better than Kama. Yamaha asatam eva anartham karoti. Yama is unpleasant only to the evil ones. Asatam, people who have done papa, only to them Yama is unpleasant. It is told somewhere in the Purana that the same Yama appears unpleasant, terrible to the papis. Whereas, if somebody has done punya, then the same Yama looks pleasant. Therefore, Yama punishes only the papis. If somebody has done punya and he goes to Yamaloka, he will be rewarded. Satam tu saukhyam kurute hitassan. Yama gives sukha to the satam, to the people who have done punya. Hitahasan, being favorable to them. Yama gives sukha to the people with the punya, the righteous ones. Whereas Kama does not do good to anybody. Kamaha satam eva gatim nirundhan. The Kama blocks the progress of even the virtuous ones. Satameva, even the virtuous ones, the people who try to follow the path of dharma, even such people, Kama obstructs their progress. Gatim nirundhan, it obstructs their progress. And then karoti anartham, it creates a disaster. In Bhagavad Gita, Adhyaya 2, Krishna clearly explains how Kama causes disaster. It causes disaster even to the virtuous people. Then what to talk about the evil ones? Asatam tu ka katha. Then there is no need of saying anything about the evil ones, the people who do adharma. Definitely, Kama causes disaster to them. This need not be stated separately. Shloka 57. Vishwasya vruddhim swayameva kangshan pravartakam kami janam sasarja. तेनैव लोकः परिमुह्यमानः प्रवर्धते चन्द्रमसेव चाब्धिः. Brahmadeva created the people with the desire. In this world, people who have vairagya are very rare. Among millions of people, one or two may have vairagya. Rest of the people are kamis. They have desires. They cherish desires. They pursue desires. That is how the world is created. Why the world is created in this manner? The author says that is how the world can remain running. And the world can grow only when there are people with the desires. If everybody has vairagya, there will not be any transaction in the world. Most of the business enterprises will be closed. All color cloths will stop. They will have to manufacture only ochre cloth, only geru, orange cloths. And there will not be any makeup item. So many industries will shut if everybody has vairagya. That is why do not think if I get vairagya, how will the world run? The author assures that everyone will not get vairagya. Only a rare one will get vairagya. Therefore, Brahma, Brahma who created the world, Vishwasya Vridhyam Swayameva Kankshan, Swayameva, he himself, Vishwasya Vridhyam Kankshan, he wanted the world to grow. All the business should thrive, procreation should happen. With this intention, Pravartakam Kamijanam Sasarja, he created Kami Jana, he created people with the desire who are Pravartakas, who will engage in various types of actions, engage in the pursuit of their desires, and that is how they will keep the world running. Tenaiva lokaha parimuhyamanaha. On account of that, since there are many kamis in the world, since majority in the world are kamis, parimuhyamanaha, majority of the people are deluded to think that the external world can keep them happy. The external world can give them happiness. On account of this, the world is growing. Pravardhate. The world is growing. The economy is growing. The transactions are growing. The author gives an example to the growth of the world. Chandramaseva chabdhihi. The world grows just like the ocean grows on account of moon, high tide. On account of the moon, the ocean rises up. But that rising up is only for a while. Again, it will fall down. In the same manner, all the apparent prosperities in the world, even they are temporary. Everything is subject to a fall. That is why Mahabharata says, Patanantas samuchayaha. Every rise is followed by a fall. Sometimes it appears that there is a prosperity, but then there is a decline. Every prosperity is followed by a decline. That is why the author gives the example of the high tide. Every high tide is followed by a low tide. When the water comes down, Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.